Welcome to this event where today we like to introduce you the digital way of pharmaceutical leaflet printing. And we hope to give you detailed information. We hope to give you some new insights. And I think it was great to listen to Felix's story. So for me personally, it was very inspirational. I think same for you. Probably also some food for thought, I'm pretty sure. Today we have the specialists from Screen. We have specialists from our partners. Everything will be here. Everybody will be here. So please, may I ask you to be today proactive. Ask the questions that you have. Like Felix said, maybe we don't have all the answers, but probably we'll have a lot of answers. So please take advantage of that. And we are great you are here. Great with this large group. You're all very busy, we know that. So for most of you, you have to travel a long way. Absolutely fantastic you will be here. And let's make a good day out of it. So let's chat together. Yesterday, I think, on all tables I saw people chatting, people having conversations about the things that we like, the things that we know, printing. So today, let me go this way. This always happens. How often you practice it? Here we are. No? Yeah. I'm not going to leave it now. Push it here. I'm already introduced as the business director of high-speed inkjet. Today I'm going to talk about the high-speed models that we have. Felix already mentioned 2 models are at the Pharmadrucker, so you will see them live today. And when I checked the list with attendees today, I saw names of people I know. They know Screen very well. I saw names that people don't Screen maybe a little, and I'm sure there are people that don't know Screen very well. So let me quickly introduce where we're coming from. Till, I would say, the start of the century, Screen was known as a big player in prepress. So going back to cameras, going back to scanners, going back to computer to film, computer to plate. And computer to plate is still big business for Screen. We are still the biggest manufacturer in the world. But 20 years ago, Bill, you already mentioned that, we launched our first high-speed model, the TruePressJet 520S. It was our first step into industrial inkjet printing. And I would say in a very quick time, we became a very respected player in that. So today, we have a large portfolio, push this way, of presses. At the moment, we have 4 models. So we have the 520NX, which is, let's say, our entry level, which is designed for transactional, book printing, that type of things. Most important, it prints on uncoated papers or inkjet treated papers. Then we have our biggest model, TruePressJet 520 HD. HD is designed to print on all type of offset papers, coated, uncoated, gloss, matte, whatever. The same papers you're using in your offset presses are used on the HD. The mono is based on the same technology, it's just a black and white printer. It's also capable to print on any type of paper. Big part of the success of pharmaceutical printing. And then our new flagship model, just launched at Drupa, the 560 HCX. We're just starting to roll it out to the market. It is a flagship, it is a little wider, but 4 models that are doing the job for us at the moment and doing the job for our customers. We have to stay close. Maybe stop with this one. TruePressJet 520 HD. I really don't know what's going on here. Sorry for that. I shouldn't use it anymore. I shouldn't use it, sorry. Felix already mentioned that the first machine was installed at the Pharmadrucker was a color one, simply because that time there was not a black and white printer available. When Screen launched the black and white model, frankly speaking, I thought too late. There is not a black and white market anymore. And I was absolutely wrong, completely wrong. There still is a huge black and white market. Book printing, manuals, pharmaceutical leaflets. On the mono, you will see today, which is an extreme powerful printer. And next to it, still the color versions. So printing on all type of papers, that is key. And that is possible with the HD series, mono and color. So people say, all type of papers, because that is, are you sure? Can you do that? And what is needed for that? With the TruePress HD series, we are capable to print on any type of offset paper, any type. The great thing is, we don't need anything like a primer. We don't need something like color grip. We can go straight onto the paper, and that took a long time to get to that level. Most of our competitors, they start using a primer. A primer means 95% water that you bring into the paper. All the people in this room understand printing. And everybody will realize if you bring 95% water into paper, and you have to dry it very quick, and you have to print on it and dry again, it's a nightmare. It's not helping, especially with thin papers. So, the challenge was to develop an ink that made it possible to print on every paper without having a primer. And that was a huge challenge. It's not about the ink only, it's about the heads. It's the way how you're firing droplets onto a piece of paper. It's about the drying system. It takes time. It absolutely takes time. Now, after 20 years, we could say we have achieved a level that is absolutely similar to offset. I'm not going to say that offset always should be the benchmark. Why? We shouldn't. But if you compare with offset, it absolutely becomes the same level, with many more advantages. Advantages that you also will see today in live demonstrations, also when you hear later on the other presentations. I just touched on that it is not only ink, it's not only the heads, a big part is also the drying system. Bringing heat into paper is something that paper don't like, especially when it is still very wet. So, having the right drying system is very important, especially with thin papers. On the mono, that you will see later today, we have an NIR dryer, which stands for near infrared. It means that we don't bring heat into the paper. We only have an NIR focusing on the ink. It's only drying the ink. You can imagine with pharmaceutical leaflets, I don't think I have to explain to anyone of you in this room how important it is to get a flat product. When you are a book printer, printing on 30, 40, 50 GSM, it's extremely important that you have a flat product. NIR dryer is helping that a lot. Next nice thing about NIR is the power consumption, which is very, very low. Startup time, you don't have to heat up, it's on or off. So NIR drying is absolutely a big help on the success of this machine. Then the machine itself, extremely compact. You will witness it later on. 5 meters, 2 meters is very, very compact. And by the way, it could be in an L shape, an I shape, or a dual configuration. The dual configuration means that you could even use them as two simplex printers. In, out, or just switching to a duplex line. So one single duplex line could change in very quickly to two single engines. Then, to avoid misunderstanding about the papers and what is possible. Maximum speed on the HD printers is 150 meters a minute. You already mentioned, equal to 12,000 P2 sheets. Is that possible on every paper? On uncoated papers, we achieve 150 meters a minute. On coated papers, gloss papers, we can go up to 100 meters a minute. So it depends on your paper type, but even here at the Pharmadrucker, we print up to 150 meters a minute at 35 or 40 GSM. And again, that's a combination of things. That is the speed in the combination with the ink, but also the drying technology. It goes up. Yeah.
Better use the computer.
Yeah.
Not directly. It's easier.
It's not going to work. Quickly, I want to show you this comparison. It's not made by us. It's made by one of our customers. So the funny thing is when people come to the show and say, nice machine, what is the printing speed? There's always the first question, what is the printing speed? Of course, the printing speed is important, but it is a small part of the whole configuration. We already heard this morning that the combination of the pre-press and the finishing is important. At the same time, what makes it fantastic is that you can do ripping on the fly. If you produce medical leaflets and you add a single barcode to every sheet to recognize it later in the system, then it means that every sheet is different. Ripping on the fly makes it possible to achieve those speeds. So when you're printing the first job, in the same time you're already preparing the next job. You're already prepared for the next job. You don't have to wait. It is an ongoing process. Like Felix mentioned, you have all the jobs already on one wheel, and if you want to inspect that, you have to do it very, very quick. So ripping on the fly, ripping while you're printing, that's extremely important. You can see the difference in production time. Then we have the color device. And today you will also see the color device. However, the focus is on the mono today. So the demonstration will be in the mono. The HD color will be next to it. So if we have some time, we go quickly also to that machine. HD Plus is a color device that can print on any type of paper. And I know I'm repeating myself, but it's extremely important. That is the success of our customers, on every paper without any special preparation. HD Plus means infrared dryer, so the same advantages. But if you print on full color, heavy solids, you also need more. So this machine has a combination of the drying systems. Freedom of substrate. Most of our users who moved away from offset to digital said, I don't want to use different papers. I want to have exactly the same papers as I have on my write-up presses. Is that possible? Can you use that? Yes, but like I mentioned earlier, it is not easy. So really was a long process to get everything in place, to make sure that you really can hit every PMS color, that you can make it on the right speed with all type of papers. On the HD Plus, that is possible. I just mentioned, for the black and white printer, we have this NAR dryer. Because it's only black, you only have to dry one layer of ink. When you have 4 layers of ink, heavy coverage, you need more. You need more techniques you can play with. So on the HD color, we have a combination of infrared drying, heated drum, and air knives. So with the heated drum, you add warmth to the paper, but because you have the NAR dryer, it could be very, very low. But if you print, for example, on 250 GSM of full solid, you need some different techniques to play with. That's why on the HD color, we have 3 different types of technologies. Depending on the substrate, depending on the type of job, you can play. Some of them only requires an NAR. If you need more, some air knives or some heated drum, you can play with it. Again, you have all the control over it. I'm not sure how well you can see it on the lights here, but you can see the difference. This is a test that we did within our test center. Absolute maximum coverage. Absolutely maximum type of ink you can add. Without, it's the same settings. On the right with NAR dryer, on the left without NAR dryer. So here the machine is really pushed to the max, absolutely to the max what it can be done on this type of paper. And then you can see absolute difference. You have no cockling, no wrinkling using the NAR dryer. So it absolutely is a nice tool to add if you bring it to the maximum. Just summarizing it again. When we launched the HD, we had an ink that could not print on coated offset papers. So many of our customers said, the machine is fantastic, the print quality is fantastic, but as long as you can't print on our normal papers, we're not going to invest in it. So the SC ink was the breakthrough. The SC ink made it possible to print everything that you could do on your offset press nowadays. And today, again, we will see it live also at the Pharmadrucker. So I would say probably even 5 years ago on exhibitions, people came to our booth and say, I'm here to investigate. And we were asking, so what are you investigating? And the answer was, I'm investigating digital. Okay, that's great. So can you please give me your definition of digital? And the answer was, well, it means for me that I have something on the disk and you can print it for me, or I can do it to the web, or nowadays people are not coming to the show to say, I'm here to investigate digital, I'm here to investigate inkjet. Inkjet is absolutely now the technology that people are looking at and do understand that this is the technology to go forward. It is changing our industry. We have customers that saying, I have still 5, 6 offset presses and I want to replace them all for inkjet. And we are the ones who say, well, maybe you should keep one offset for the moment, But that is how it's going at the moment. So the advantages of inkjet, the combination, not only just the technology, not just the print, but the whole workflow. The whole way of receiving the job till finalizing the job. And I think with the pharma today, that is probably one of the best examples of the whole process, how it was conventional and how it is now in a digital way. So again, today, ask the questions, take a look and see for yourself. I know you know very well how it is in your production environment at the moment. Take a look here today and see how it could work for you. So, thank you.